Home. We samurai lost our true home long ago. Now, to us, that word means something different. We made a new home, but we have to fight to hold it. I wasn't going to be fighting anyone from inside a prison cell. But my friends, my daimyo, saw an opportunity and took it. They're burning the city.
We're leaving. They said we're leaving. Let's go.
We can't.
This is how you ended up here in the first place.
We needed a quick way through. Fire would do it.
Alright folks, we have finally reached the Samurai campaign. This is the final act of the For Honor story, and it is very good to be here. Now, technically, we didn't beat the Vikings campaign on realistic difficulty because General Tozen whooped my ass, but don't worry, I'm going to go back and give him a proper beatdown when the time comes. But for now, we're moving right along as the Orochi. But before we dive into the action, Joshua Campos had a question. He wants to know what my favorite sport is and what effect sports have had on my life. And I gotta be honest, I don't give a fuck about sports. No, I'm kidding. I do care about sports. I like football.
Let's blow that gate open.
But not that much. I have a weird relationship with sports. I watch football. That is the only sport that I watch, but I don't care about it that much. I like it more for the camaraderie and the being a part of the collective consciousness more than I actually like the game of football. I can improve. Damn, girl. Need to watch where you swinging that big ass sword. I appreciate the athleticism that goes into it. I get excited when epic plays happen, all that stuff. I enjoy rooting for the Giants because I'm from New York, and it's cool. It's just nice to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and that's what sports do for people. But I didn't grow up with sports that way. I don't come from a family that goes around tailgating. Ooh. This is getting tough. Faint. Top light. Killed him. Unnecessary guard break. So yeah, I didn't grow up with it in that sense, and all through school, whenever somebody, hey, did you catch the game last night? Did you watch the basketball game? Because I went to a black high school, so of course it's the basketball game that people want to talk about, but I never watched it, and I still don't watch basketball, but the point is, I was never a part of that conversation about sports, and I started to get tired of it. I started to just, I wanted to be involved in that chat as much as basic as that talk can be about, oh, did you see Odell Beckham last night, man? He made a great touchdown. It's really simple, basic level stuff, but it's enjoyable to be a part of it because it's just bonding with another human, and that feels good. I just got super focused for a second. Okay, oh, wait a minute. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and do something cool right now. We're going to guard break her and then throw her behind us. And then we're going to guard break her again and throw her into the wall. Then we're guard break her one more time. Don't ruin this for me.
He should be defending the bridge.
Don't ruin this for me. Boom. That was completely unnecessary. but totally worth it. So yeah, it's that's what sports are for me. It's just this way to interact with other people that I wouldn't have if I don't watch the game. Then I don't have that way of interacting with people, and that was a very big explosion. I really like this mission. It's a nice set piece. It doesn't compare to some of the Viking set pieces, but it sets the stage for the story to be still epic, even if we're not Normandy style raiding the samurai faction anymore. Okay. It sets up the samurai story as being still the same level of epicness and intensity with the set pieces, even if they don't compare to the Viking ones. But also you get girl. You get a much richer setup to the story as opposed to we are Vikings, ooga booga. You get this. You get the basics of what is a cool story of friendship between the samurais, and you wonder to yourself, why is the Orochi in prison? Why has he been imprisoned for the last 5 years or whatever she said? So it gives the character a little bit more depth, even if it doesn't get elaborated on too much, because this is, at the end of the day, a stupid action movie. So let's continue on with the stupid action and the storytelling. But actually, before we do that, we're gonna look for some observables, because I'm sure there are a few that I have missed up to this point.
Once the bridge gate fell to the war-born raider, the Vikings swarmed into the city. Fortunately for the outnumbered samurai, the barbarians were only seeking plunder. How many layers of civilization lie within that city? We ruled it for a time, but those first builders were not our ancestors. Nor were they samurai, or any other living people. Lost to time, those first architects.
Alright, I only saw 2 of them, but I'm sure there's more, but let's move right along. Boom. Uh-oh. Better watch your step. Whoa. I nearly fell in that hole.
Let's find Momiji.
Okay, so, besides that, though, I have, a pretty typical relationship with sports, in that I equate them to masculinity, and for this part of the mission, we have to use poison traps to delay the enemy's advance. Now, where's my poison trap? Ah, there it is. And so what I'm gonna do, and the best way that I found to do this part of the mission, is to put the poison traps directly next to the objectives that you need to defend, and then as the enemies walk up to try and destroy it, they get poisoned. So that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, I equate sports to masculinity, because regardless of how progressive society has become in the last 20-30 years, I want to say that a lot of people still see football and sports and basketball as a guy thing. I get that the WNBA is a thing. I get that women like to throw the pigskin around. Guys, thank you. Please step in the poison. I understand all of that, but at the same time, sports will always be traditionally the guy thing. There's always going to be pictures of a father throwing a football around with his son, and there's going to be more of those than a father throwing a football around with his daughter. That's just kind of how it is. But again, I'm not in any way trying to say that a father shouldn't throw the football around with his daughter. That's absolutely not the case. In fact, I recommend it. Girl stole my execution. Holy shit. And just by the way, the Kensei in this story is female. So women are very badass. I'm trying to anyway, let's just move on. I equate sports to masculinity. All right, that's just how I feel. And ever since I started keeping up with the Giants and watching the games throughout the season, yeah, I feel like more of a man. And like I feel like that's something hard for people to understand. Sometimes it's hard for people to wrap their head around. It's like, oh, no, being a man isn't defined by big muscles and watching football. You can be a man in other ways. Yes, that's obviously true, but the dude bro that's at the bar that likes football, that's the man. Like the guy that it's a weird primal thing, and that is my relationship with sports at its very core. I equate it to masculinity, and when I'm watching football, drinking a beer, I feel more like a man than I do at any other point in the day. Come on, guys, come over to the stuff so you get poisoned, please. Because my plan is not working at all. I mean, the objective is super protected, but all right, look. Since clearly I put these traps down for a reason, we are going to make use of them. Totally worth it. Okay, so my strategy with the traps not working exactly the way I intended it to. I'm gonna have to change that up a little bit. For some reason, I did it this way when I played on a lesser difficulty and it worked out better. Maybe I was just shit at the game back then, so I needed to do that. But clearly, we're just gonna put the traps here, and here, and here, and also here. And we'll put one more here for good measure. And there we go. And so, the next question for me though is how do you guys feel about that? Because I know the bulk of my audience is male, and there's a nice age range as well. Some of you guys are younger, some of you guys are the same age as me, in your 20s. How do you feel about sports? If you don't watch sports, I know Kelvin Lee is a big fan of anime, and a lot of times the anime crowd doesn't watch sports. So how do you feel about sports being equated to masculinity, and what kind of effect does that have on you? Do you ever feel like less of a man because you don't watch sports? Because I certainly do sometimes, and that's very stupid, and it's a very primitive thought. And just by the way, Mo, Larry, and Curly over there ain't doing shit. Somebody is gonna get their pay deducted a little bit. My goodness, the AI sometimes doesn't respond the way it should. Immersion absolutely broken. Yeah, and that's a strange thing, and I'm getting kind of philosophical and stuff, but the fact that even though we've advanced so far as a society, and we do sort of break the traditional gender rules. That speaking as a guy, we do value certain things as being more masculine. And we just found another observable, and I'm sure it's going to tell us some interesting facts about this big poisonous tree.
Long ago, the samurai arrived in a land already inhabited. They were forced to live where others would not, in the fens and wastelands and crags. And along the way, they learned to tame the dangers that we were afraid to touch.
Absolutely fascinating backstory about the samurais. Just to give a bit more context, the samurai faction, they live in the mire. It is basically a big-ass swamp, and it sucks. But they live there, and they've grown and they've flourished. Feels good. So let's continue chopping. Oh, wait a minute! I don't even have to fight those guys. Oh no, I do have to fight them. I got rid of my arrows. Shit. Well, that's unfortunate. Feels bad, man. I thought I had more arrows. It's okay. Let's go on the front lines and start chopping people. I found another one, but it's kind of lost its impact at this point. So yeah, that's sports for me. It's masculinity, but also it's being a part of the collective conversation, a part of something bigger than me. And being able to cheer for people, because I used to think it was stupid that when people said, "Oh, we won the game last night," and the logic for a lot of people that don't watch sports is like, "You didn't win anything. It was the Giants that won." And anybody that says that is an asshole, because And you're also just jealous that you don't understand the camaraderie. Shit, I'm about to die. You don't understand the level of camaraderie that comes from being a part of the team. Because even if you're not running on the field, you're sending a certain level of psychic energy by watching the game and just sending that positivity into the universe. And that's just giving you a little context as to where my head is at. But but yeah, there's it's something really fun. It's something really fun. And you know what? While all this action is going on, I'm gonna collect this one last observable because screw it, I'm super fascinated by it.
A monk once told me that true peace is the product of one's mind and body working in perfect harmony. A battlefield, then, is one of the most peaceful places you can be.
Looks like my daimyo wanted to get in on the relaxation over here. So let's get back into the fight and continue off and finish this first mission off the right way. And what other way to finish off a very exciting mission than with another sort of quick time event with horses. So strap in. We're about to go for a ride. Apollyon's here. Well, we're not going to go for a ride, but they're going to try and ride on top of us. Block. Oh, slash me in the face. There we go. Nope. Nope. Got him. Ah. 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 I got this. Don't worry. I got it. I got it. There we go. Oh. Cut the horse in the belly. Where was he the whole time? He could have stood in front of the horses and they wouldn't have gotten inside. Whatever.
Knights from the Blackstone Legion. Where's are you? The Vikings broke into our city. They didn't know who they served.
Ah, the last few. Daimyo, your emperor is dead. Will you take his place?
Never.
Would you be emperor?
After I kill the rest of them, I'm coming to kill you.
A wolf. Leave the palace to Seijuro. The others can fight for the scraps.
Who do you think you are?
War. I am war.
Boom. And there we go. We're off to a very exciting start. We got 4 out of the 8 observables. I never go around and get all of them. This isn't a completionist playthrough. Just giving you guys a taste of what the game is like, so that if you've ever been interested in it, don't want to spend the $60, you get a feel for that, and also a little bit of nice conversation as well. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. We got a couple more questions. I believe there is room for one more question on this particular series, but there are going to be other playthroughs in the future. So if you would like to submit topics that you want me to talk about, feel free, and I'll catalog them, and maybe they'll come up in an XCOM episode in the future. And feel free. I'm always in the comments. I read them. I respond to them. You guys know what the deal is. What the hell? If you're watching this episode, you know that I am fucking awesome by now, okay? So we're going to wrap it up here. The name of the game, it's obviously For Honor. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.